This are my audience. Make sure to get it on. Anti-doping advocate says that drugs, sports, and risk players' health. A handful of descendants disagree and call for lifting the anti-doping board. For my speech, I will be telling you about the importance to keep athletes away from any types of enhancements, that is, drugs or steroids. Personally, in my time during high school, any type of drugs or steroids are easily to obtain. By just one Google search, they will be able to find them. First, I'll tell you about doping in sports and why it's very dangerous. Second, I'll tell you about why it's unfair and why athletes feel the need to do so. And last, I'll tell you about how we can keep preventing this tragedy and why. As I said, first I'll tell you why doping in sports is dangerous. Athletes know that training is the best path to victory, but they also understand that some drugs and other enhancements can boost their efforts and give them a shortcut, even if it means risking their health and athletic careers. An article titled Sports and Drugs, as written by author Kenneth Jost, appeared in the July 24th CQ Researcher. His report focused on the way drugs can not only affect the sport, but most importantly can affect the person's body. Although many believe that we let football players take violent hits and suffer concussions, why not just let them consume whatever they want? But that isn't the case. We must not only protect the sport, but the athletes. Many are forced into enhancing and don't realize the consequences until it is too late. Marijuana, cannabis, pot, whatever you want to call it, it is banned. Whether you are a pothead or casual user, marijuana may have a negative effect on your athletic performance and on your health. Second, I'll tell you why it is very unfair and why athletes feel the need to do so. Jim Vertuno from Houston Chronicle reported that people who become athletes while consuming enhancements are deceiving those who actually struggle to achieve their goal. By this deceit, they could potentially destroy the honest athlete's dream. Doping in sports opposes the true ideal meaning of sportsmanship. If we were all able to consume steroids or drugs or whatever you want to call it, we would all be able to become professional athletes that easily. Players should compete by what they can really do, by the effort they can put into their training, their coaches' advice, and all that stuff. Just as many don't want athletes cheating into the high-up professional sport, also fans, coaches, and family members shouldn't put a huge pressure on athletes and their work. Nothing that means fame and money can be easily held. This is why players feel the pressure into boosting their effort and consuming enhancements. They want to be number one, no matter the consequence. Last, I'll tell you about how we can prevent this tragedy and why. We need stronger anti-doping policies adopted by international and professional sports organizations. That is a great way to get started into preventing the use of enhancements. As I've said before, it is very important to not have any type of drugs, steroids in a sport. This whole ideal of an athlete using enhancements in sports is unacceptable because many young people look up to these athletes and they think it's right for them to also consume. An example of this would be when a rapper raps about drugs, or that they like marijuana, or all those kinds of things. It makes the person hearing it, it makes them want to consume and do what they're doing because they think it's, I guess, cool. Students now have the help of social media in order to have them in their hands. In conclusion, a sport should remain being a sport, and athletes should remain doing all their hard work, because that's the whole idea about a game. About the potential they have, not by how many drugs they can enhance, but by their hard work. First, I told you why doping in sports is dangerous. Second, I told you why it's unfair and why athletes feel the need to do so. Finally, I told you how we can prevent this tragedy and why. So next time you hear about someone consuming enhancements, let them know about the consequences that can happen. And don't forget how dangerous doping in sports is.